This is WBSM On Demand.
Good morning. Good morning. Boy, it's going to turn out to be a beautiful day out there. It might be a little cold, but it is November after all, right? So just want to remind you again, I will not be here Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. So I know sometimes I'm really appreciative of the concern, but there's no reason to be concerned. It's just related to the holidays and some of my medical treatments. But everything's good for me, so it'll be good for you. And I'm not sure what they're going to do on Wednesday, but I will tell you that the mayor has adjusted for my schedule, and he'll be here tomorrow at 11 o'clock. The police chief has been scheduled for about a month to be here at 10 a.m., so that'll be great. We'll have Chief Paul Oliveira tomorrow at 10 a.m., and that's developing into a monthly segment. So I appreciate the chief of police considerably for making that time for me and my audience. We are now joined by a friend of mine, personal friend of mine, friend of the show as well, Jesse St. Gelais, who most of us knew him not as a candidate, but first we knew him as a guy who's very involved with the great work of the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick, and he's also a private insurance gentleman, right? He runs Help You Insure Incorporated, the local insurance agency. So Jesse St. Gelais stepped out for the first time ever and had a really strong showing despite coming up short. So we really appreciate Jesse St. Gelais. We know him as a very active member of the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick, and in that capacity, he joins us now. Happy Thanksgiving, Jesse St. Gelais. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing great, Chris. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too.
So what are you and the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick doing for Thanksgiving, this great American holiday?
Well, actually, today is our turkey drive. It's our annual turkey drive where we supply quite a bit of Thanksgiving dinners to our local community here. So I think it was a little over 300 full dinners that we've put out, for the local charities and people in need around our area. Probably about over 400 turkeys, though, now that we've distributed throughout the area. So
we're speaking with Jesse St. Gelais. So, Jesse, you came up a little short, but you had a really strong showing on the conservative line. You ran as an unenrolled. You're probably giving that some thought, I don't know. But you ran as a conservative candidate, and that was a pretty crowded field, probably the crowdest field I've ever seen for a general election in the area. Talk about your experience as a candidate.
Oh, that was a hell of a ride, wasn't it?
Yes.
5 people in that one there. But, it was great. I mean, that was a great run. I'll tell you, even though, may have came up short as far as the title goes, winning to become the state representative, I met a lot of great people along the way. I mean, and I'm looking at all those numbers and those, the thousands there that came out and supported me. You know what? That left an impression on me. I left an impression on them. I mean, the work's not done. So, I mean, I love this community. So never give up on it.
Jesse, I told you when you started, you called me and I said, listen, whether you win or you lose, you can't help but be moved by all the thousands of people that voted for you.
Yeah. And you know what? And like I've told you before, I won it before the election. I mean, the experiences that I had, the people that I had conversations with, I mean, it was great. I mean, nothing like it, and I mean, very blessed to have crossed paths with a lot of different people that left a very good impression on my life.
Jesse St. Gelais, I know it's a little early, but have you sworn off electoral politics, or can we expect you possibly on the ballot again?
I'm not going anywhere. Like I've told everybody before, we're either going to rise together or we're going to fall apart. And I love my community, and I'm always going to be here for my community. So I'm not going anywhere.
We appreciate the work of the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick. Great group of men. I think, do you allow women in over there yet?
What's that?
Do you guys have women in that group yet?
Actually, we have women that help us out with, absolutely. I mean, they're here. They're very active. So.
No, I know. I'm just kidding you. So we have Jesse St. Gelais from the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick, a great group. I told one of your past presidents, I said, hey, I'll join when you guys let Obama join. But then he told me, well, Obama could have joined.
Everybody has an opportunity to join this great organization, all right?
So you guys
we have a great group of gentlemen, though. I mean, that showed up today to help out. I mean, it's a very, very good group of people.
So you guys really, I know charity is the big outreach for the Friendly Sons. The reason you guys exist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we help out with a lot of scholarships. And, again, like today, with the need, that's out there, unfortunately there is a need. But we're here. We step up for our community. We're always there, helping out. We have a lot of good people, like I said, in this organization that are involved in different businesses or just even other charities, too. We're helping out, too. So, yeah, we have a very far reach.
Jesse, if people want to stay in touch with you, how do they do that?
Yeah, so you can actually you can. I've given out my phone number many times on air, and my wife's probably listening. And I'm sorry, honey, but you can always call me. Anybody, you ever want to call me? 508-326-3413. That's my phone number. My campaign website is still up and running, jesse4u.com. So you can reach me there. You can email me, jesse@helpyouinsure.net or jesse4u.com. You can reach me there too.
Jesse, I really appreciate it. I hope you and Tess and the kids have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks for everything you do.
Hey, thanks a lot, Chris. Appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
All right. Thank you, my friend. Jesse St. Gelais, again, it's important that these men who didn't quite make it last time around, I'm trying to think if there were any women who didn't quite make it, if they're interested, this program is still available because I'd like as many voices to stay in the conversation as possible, right? We live in a great area, and I think the voter turnout was spectacular. And so I want to encourage more people to stay in politics and stay involved because there's a lot of work to be done, as Jesse just pointed out, right? 508-996-0500. We're coming up on Black Friday. It's not too soon to start your Christmas shopping today, really. Carter's Clothing and Footwear. That's a brand you can trust. They've been in business, same family, owned and operated since 1947, covering all your work and casual clothing needs, right? They have some of the best brands, things like Carhartt and Chippewa, Timberland, Levi's, Dickies, Under Armour, New Balance, Champion, all things that look great on Christmas morning, right? Great gifts you can trust and a company you can trust. All available at Carter's Clothing and Footwear. Both locations have free parking, downtown New Bedford and on Plymouth Ave in Fall River. You can also check out their website, Carter's Clothing and Footwear. Shop local, shop Carter's. So you can, if you don't know what someone you love wants, get a gift card, right? Carter's Clothing and Footwear. They're going to be there tomorrow. They've been there since 1947. So they're a company you can count on to be there tomorrow. The company that Scott Lang does all his shopping at, and Scott Lang kids every time, but he's not kidding. If Carter's doesn't have it, well, you and your family don't need it anyway. Not for your casual and your work needs, right? They've got all kinds of great shoes and boots, and have fun with the experience, right? Head downtown New Bedford or to Fall River. Enjoy the Christmas atmosphere and spend your money with a great local business and a great local family. Take a couple phone calls. Good morning. Thank you for holding.
Hey, Chris. Don up in Stoughton.
Don in Stoughton. How are you, my friend?
Oh, getting used to the new medications. They've been brutal.
Every medication is harsh. But if the doctor, it's probably necessary, right?
Well, yeah, no, that's the case. But quick points.
Sure.
Just at 15 minutes and 20 minutes past 10, you were talking to a gentleman who redid his house with natural gas.
Yes.
And then he asked the question, where does Maura Healey or the general court get the authority to force us to move into electric, green, etc.? And the answer is without that privilege specifically noted in the Massachusetts Constitution, they cannot do that. This is what James Madison called constitutional limitations in Federalist 49. Without that authority, Chris, they cannot ban natural gas pipelines coming into the state. That also interferes with interstate commerce.
I thought that too, Don, interstate commerce.
Yeah, but the point being is, without these limitations, Chris, you can create monopolies.
Yes.
What if Governor Healy said, Don up in Stoughton's got all the electric stuff that you people want to buy? I'm the monopoly, ain't I?
Yes, sir.
And you have to buy and the criteria that you have to buy is by this definition, so you have to buy that stuff, and my friends sell this stuff. You can't do that, Chris. Damn it. It's not in the Massachusetts Constitution for them to ban natural gas lines, to force you to buy eggs from certain chickens, and absolutely, they have no say over the right to arms, and they have no say to command that people buy green energy. There's nothing in the Massachusetts Constitution. It's all malfeasance.
But are we going to get lawyers together to challenge them?
That is the problem.
Okay.
The courts in Massachusetts are some of the most corrupt I have ever come to know. I know of instances that would shock you, would turn your hair white. But the courts, being corrupt, they don't care. They have a for-life job. They can't get fired. So do you think they give a darn about us poor little peons? But, I mean, this is ridiculous. It's completely and absolutely clear that Madison championed a constitutional republic based upon the fact public servants could only do those things they were privileged and allowed to do. And for some reason, they lost that many years ago.
Well, it's the public education system that most people have gone through is not adequate.
Oh, absolutely, Chris. No, I mean, even myself, I have been doing this, research on legal historical writings and documents for maybe more than 50 years. And it's finally gelled in my head that in a constitutional republic, the public servants only do that which they are privileged to do in writing in the Constitution. If it ain't there, Chris, they can't do it.
Thank you, as always, my friend Don from Stoughton. A really bright guy, really well read. I was reading last night, or in the afternoon anyway, a biography on George Washington. And George Washington, for the ratification of the Constitution, the big concern was, would Massachusetts even ratify the Constitution? Now, they did, and that what Massachusetts and Virginia did, in both of those two states, had patriots that thought the Constitution actually gave the government too much power, right? Today, we have elected officials that think the Constitution is standing in their way, and they're vocal about it. Well, it is. The Constitution was structured to prevent government power from getting too big, right? Today, that thought is almost foreign to a lot of people, and that is because you've been brainwashed by the Marxist-Leninists in high school, community college, and in the four-year universities. They have pumped Marxist-Leninist thought into your brain. Howard Zinn he's passed away now, and in his death, we were able to get his FBI file. His FBI file is available. Howard Zinn wrote the most popularly prescribed textbook in the American classrooms on U.S. history. Your kids, many of you listening to me now, got your one history book from Howard Zinn. Howard Zinn was a devoted practitioner of Marxist-Leninist theology, so much to the point that he joined the American Communist Party when they were loyal to Stalin. Within Howard Zinn's FBI file, you can see today that he was on a select list of Americans that would be automatically scooped up and detained by the FBI should we go to war, a hot war, with the Soviet Union. That's how much of a traitor he was. Yet the classrooms are filled with his work, which glorifies communism and Marxist-Leninism, and really erodes patriotism and love of America. Yet, year after year, Bristol Community College and the other public schools around here hand that book out like candy. In fact, it's not like candy. They charge your students for the book. You got to buy it at the bookstore. Marlene Pollock and Dan Gilbarg and the other brain trust around Shane Burgo assign this book to the future CNAs of America. It's amazing. It's really amazing. 508-996-0500. That's what Don from Stoughton is talking about. That's what Don from Stoughton is talking about. Folks, if you love America, you got to love the Second Amendment. Head over to Shooting Supply, where they truly celebrate the Second Amendment. They have over 200 Smith & Wesson revolvers in stock. Shooting Supply in Westport, all those revolvers, the Smith & Wessons, come with a $150 rebate from Smith & Wesson, making those classic American revolvers as low as $3.99 after rebate. As my dad used to say, let's get two at that price, right? Save with a $100 rebate on Colt revolvers, another great American product. Stock up on ammo with the lowest prices of the year, plus Shooting Supplies. Black Friday sale is so big, there is really no way to get it done in just one day. So there will be new specials all week long. So head over there today. Also, sign up for their preferred email list to be one of the first to find out about every one of their daily specials, which have already started today. Find out more, shootingsupply.com. Again, State Road in Westport. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Right? That sounds good. Jim Croce, one of the great storytellers, right? One of the great storytellers, American storytellers, died too young in a plane crash. Folks, in 2016, we elected Donald Trump president. But here in Massachusetts, we also legalized recreational marijuana. Have you noticed there's not as many stores as we thought there were going to be? Now, as I voted for it, okay? I was a little bit reluctant, but one of the reasons that I voted for it, in addition to the state police that week raiding a family by helicopter who was growing one plant, okay? I thought that is ridiculous, right? As much as I support the state police and certainly their drug interdiction programs, but I mean, raiding a family by helicopter for one plant, it was out in Western Mass. So anyway, the other reason I voted for it was years ago, I read a book, and that book was talking about how, first of all, marijuana is benign, and I happen to agree with that, but I do think there are certain people it's not good for at all. So you got to be very selective. In fact, I would say that you're better off not smoking it, okay? That's my opinion. You're better off. Not to say I haven't, I'm just saying you're better off. And the younger you start, the worse off it's going to be. But anyway, the reason I voted for it was because this book talked about how marijuana, while illegal, is still a thriving industry, but that when someone goes to get marijuana, they are in the underworld where it's not legal, okay? And that they have contact with people who are criminals, okay? They are smugglers of drugs. And they may sell marijuana, but they likely sell other drugs as well, right? In this case, fentanyl wasn't even a thing, at least in the black market. It wasn't a problem when I read this book. But today, fentanyl is killing people left and right. Left and right. Many of us have a friend who died back around St. Patrick's Day. beautiful 50-year-old woman who died of fentanyl. But there's lots of people like that who are dying of fentanyl, and they wouldn't even know about fentanyl except that they know about where to buy illegal drugs. And a lot of people today, particularly young people, they're used to buying marijuana on the street because you can't buy it here in Massachusetts till you're 21 in the stores. So they understand. And if there's not more stores, they'll just go back to their illegal connection where they're exposed in all likelihood. I get the news reports here. The New Bedford Police, the Fairhaven Police, Wareham, certainly Fall River, when they do drug raids, they always get fentanyl and cocaine, but there's always a sizable amount of marijuana. Why? Because those fentanyl dealers are selling marijuana as like a loss leader, right? Hey, we got grass, but why are you here? Because they don't make a lot of money in grass, okay? They can't put any additives in it. They can't dilute it, right? It just either it is or it ain't. So, but that's not the story with heroin and cocaine. They can add very cheap fentanyl to it to stretch their profits, to make additional profits. And the only reason you and your family members are coming anywhere near those fentanyl people is because you're buying marijuana from a street dealer, because either it goes back to the days when marijuana wasn't legal, or you started when you were maybe in high school, which you shouldn't have, but whatever, and now you've got that connect, and you never really bought into the whole going to the dispensaries. And the fact is that a lot of dispensaries are still being denied the ability to open, even though they are credible businesses, right, with good security plans and great owners, law-abiding owners who are following the law passed by the voters in 2016, overwhelmingly in New Bedford, certainly the greater New Bedford area, right? And the communities that don't have the dispensaries are denied a lot of revenue. Now, not as much as they used to get, but they still pay property taxes, and there are host community agreements. And I just think our local elected leaders ought to, dare I say, be a little more progressive, follow the will of the voters, and also recognize that you're steering people into the black market to get a legal product by not allowing more dispensaries to open, and that competition is good for prices, it's good for consumers, it's good for quality, safety. Competition is good. One dispensary here, one 100 miles away over there is not good. It's not competition. It's not good. We need more legal dispensaries. Now, this is not an endorsement of using marijuana. Do whatever you want, okay? You're an adult, do whatever you want. But I'm just saying, I think too many people are still venturing into the underground to get inexpensive marijuana, and that's giving them contact with the very same people that sell heroin and fentanyl and cocaine, pills, all kinds of garbage, right? When really they just want marijuana. But to get their marijuana cheapest available, they go to the black market, and I don't know how often people do it, but they are visited with the opportunity. Let me tell you something, folks. I'm speaking from experience here, okay? When I was younger and marijuana was illegal, and you'd get marijuana from people that also sold other drugs, and they never didn't offer it to you, right? They had heroin, and they had cocaine, and they had pills, and they had LSD and magic mushrooms and whatever else you wanted, okay? So I do think that a lot of communities locally are missing the opportunity to lower the price of legal, regulated marijuana to their consumers, the people, and instead holding back on giving out more host agreements or however it works exactly from legally available, responsible, licensed owners to open dispensaries in the greater New Bedford area. And I think that is steering more people into the black market where the price is cheaper, but the quality is not assured. And I know from law enforcement sources and friends of mine who are lawyers in the drug court that some of the illegal underground marijuana is spiked with fentanyl, because nobody gets hooked on marijuana, but they certainly get hooked on fentanyl. So I'm just saying, if you're an elected official, please recognize that marijuana was passed a long time ago, legalized by the voters, and there's a lot of responsible owners out there trying to open dispensaries, and dragging your feet is only adding to the problem. We'll go, hell, look at this. It turned out a lot of people. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hey, good morning.
How are you doing?
You hit it right on the nail. That's true. That's very true.
These dispensaries, when there's no competition, they can keep prices high, and that's going to attract people to the underground. And look, if you've been getting your pot from a guy who's been growing it since the 70s, you're probably all right. But, today's market should be legal. And acted accordingly.
Yep, you're right. Yes. So they don't go get on other drugs.
Right. It's the only way it's the only real reason, one of the main reasons I think that it steers people out of the black market and above board. We don't buy bathtub gin anymore, right? You go to the package store where there's so many of them, they have to keep prices competitive.
Yeah. One more thing.
Sure, go ahead.
Behaving Blue Devils made the Super Bowl.
That is fantastic.
They're playing against Stoughton.
When's the next game?
It's to be determined.
Okay.
It's going to probably be within a week, I'd say.
Keep us informed, my friend. Keep us informed.
Yeah, my grandson broke the state record, too.
Hey,
Justin
that is
Marks.
fantastic. What's his name?
Yeah. Justin Marks goes to Fairhaven High School. Senior.
Justin Marks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, my friend. His grandson, that's fantastic. I love family pride. I really do. Let me see here. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Is that me?
That's you, sir.
You got one thing wrong.
Okay.
The prices at the dispensary are if anything, they're probably lower than what you buy off the guy on the street.
Really?
Yeah, you get an eighth at most of these places for $15, $20.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like 1979 prices.
You can get a half ounce for like $75.
Really? That is cheap. It's been a long time since I've been looking for grass.
Yeah, you can get it like if you buy it already ground up for you and all that, you get a whole ounce for $100.
That is I'm serious.
Yeah.
That is late 80s prices.
So the only people going to the corner guy is guys that don't have the proper ID to go to the dispensary.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
You need a legit license or a mass ID to get in there.
Hey, I appreciate the call. It's look again. It's not a pitch for smoking marijuana. Do whatever you want, but I'm just telling you that my opinion, it is not good to continue to restrict the amount of stores beyond in other words, there's an artificial cap being put on by certain elected officials for whatever reason. And I don't know. But there are legitimate, very legitimate business people out there trying to open dispensaries in the greater New Bedford area, and they're being stonewalled. And that, to my mind, is not good. And one of the reasons I voted for marijuana was because if you take that away, from the bag of tricks of the drug dealers, you're less likely to lose a friend or a relative to fentanyl. And this is coming from friends of mine, one specifically who's lost a brother who works in the drug court and told me that marijuana today is adulterated with fentanyl. But when you go to the dispensaries, it's obviously not. And besides, also, there's a lot of revenue for the communities, the state, and all of that really comes back to us. That's all lost when someone goes to buy it from an illegal drug dealer. And folks, trust me, I know from the seizure reports that we see here in the newsroom. You'll see they raid a house for fentanyl, but then they find a half a pound of marijuana. That's not for personal use. That they're selling that along with the fentanyl and the cocaine and the heroin to our fellow Americans. So I'm just making a plea here for those who listen. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Not bad. How are you?
Good. Can I change the subject for a
Go
second?
right ahead, sure.
A little while ago, you were talking about the Constitution, right, and the amendments.
Yes.
Well, how about, now you say you read the same books I read. I'm going to mention a couple of books to you, and then I'm going to explain what the book said.
Okay.
Did you ever read Slick Willie by Floyd G. Brown?
I read that book. That was a small one, came out during the impeachment. Yeah.
I had that I bought that book around 97. And then there's another one I read that you might like. I don't know if you can get it anymore. It's called The World's Lost Dictator by Dwight Kinsman.
I haven't read that.
Dwight L. Kinman, that's his name. Well, do you remember what Clinton did on May 3rd, 1994?
You got to be a little more specific than that, or less specific.
Well, I'm going to give it to you. He passed Executive Order PDD-25, which gave the sovereignty to this country to the UN. And that was totally against the Monroe Doctrine that protected us from foreign infringement of the Constitution by foreign people.
We are long since overdue to get out of the United Nations. Get us out. Get the U.S. out of the United Nations.
You remember Michael Newt? He wouldn't wear the UN patch, and he told me the British says, I work for the United States Army, not the UN.
Yes.
Thank you for knowing that. Okay.
I was in the service at the time.
Yeah, then you heard about Michael Newt. That must have been a big thing.
That was a huge thing.
And you remember when old man Bush, Daddy Bush, he says, we got to open up Fort Dix, New Jersey to train UN troops.
That's why I was part of the Buchanan Brigades, which is the original people who then went with Donald Trump. The Buchanan Brigades, Pat Buchanan primaried Papa Bush in the Republican primary, weakened him up, but built a movement that Donald Trump adopted.
Buchanan also said the Clinton Doctrine was defined in PD-25 was a betrayal of the ideas upon which a republic was founded.
Of course.
The surrender of U.S. sovereignty, Chris.
I agree with you, and I agree with Pat Buchanan. I mean, Pat Buchanan has written a host of books. The best, I think, is he wrote an autobiography. It's fantastic. You shouldn't miss that. But he wrote a book called A Republic, Not an Empire. It's really worth your time. A Republic, Not an Empire. He wrote a couple of other books on trade. Really, Pat Buchanan is an intellectual. He really is. Well, we don't know where Pat. I think Pat is, moved on, kind of, but not officially yet. But I miss Pat Buchanan. He was a pugilist, and he was great on the stump, and he was funny too. He was funny. Pat Buchanan. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Chris.
Hello. How are you?
Good. I agree with you on most things. I'm going to give you like A+ on most things. But here it comes. This marijuana thing, I have a difference of opinion, and I'm not going to go into the many reasons, but just to touch on a few. One of them is now I smell marijuana all over the place, walking by the beaches and in the parks.
Yes.
And it is disturbing to me because I don't want to smell that. People are just parking their cars and smoking with the, windows closed, but it reeks all over to me. The other thing is smoking anything. Let's look at cigarettes. people are disrespectful with that. They empty their butts all over the sidewalk, the streets. They don't want it in their car, though. It would mess it up. But the marijuana thing, there is an addictive part to this. It is teenagers a lot of times. So, it's a tough age to be a teenager at any point in history.
Yes.
But they can get, it becomes a habit.
I agree.
Okay, and it makes them it makes them a little dull. What's the word I'm trying to say?
Dullards.
Lazy,
Dullards.
like tired.
Yes.
Like tired. Okay, so the marijuana thing. If you want to smoke it in your house responsibly, that is your business. However, it's for the most part, I just smell it all over the place in parks, wherever. It's out in the open. It's all over. And what about someone like me who doesn't smoke anything or doesn't want to smell anything? It's kind of a little violation there. But I'll give you a 99% on most things, Chris.
Thank you, and have a happy Thanksgiving. And please don't be a stranger. I do appreciate that, and the gentle way she disagrees with me. It makes it much more effective. But I would just point out to her, and no reason for her to know this, but the reason you smell marijuana is because uniquely the Democrat majority state Supreme Court ruled that burnt marijuana is no reason for the police to search your car. It sounds ridiculous, but the smell of burnt marijuana is no reason for the police to search your car. That wasn't decided by the legislature, wasn't decided by the voters. That was decided by the state Supreme Court. It's ridiculous. That's the reason why you're smelling it everywhere. And again, I'm not advocating smoking marijuana. I'm not advocating using it at all. I don't use it. I think a lot of people have, and whether you decide to stay with it or not, that's your own business. It is a legal product. But they sell a lot of other stuff. They sell now seltzer waters and gummies and things like that are a measured dose and not available illegally because they take real craftsmanship and real processing to make them. So those are only available in the dispensaries, and so, which is why I think we need more dispensaries in the area. Great sponsor of mine, Mac Auto Sales, 188 Rivet Street, New Bedford. They repair all makes and models. So if you need to get your car ready for the winter, and I'm sure you do, reach out to Mac Auto Sales. Give them a call today, 508-565-6221. They're open weekdays, 9 to 5. They specialize in servicing foreign automobiles, and Mac Auto Sales will help you beat inflation with a new-to-you automobile. They have quality used cars down there. Head over to Mac Auto Sales, 188 River Street, or give them a call. Make an appointment to go down and see them. Tell them Chris McCarthy sent you. Go back to the phones here, 508-996-0. I bring up the dispensary stuff only because I know from my readings and studyings that it does. When you just go to the store and buy it, right? Like, think about it. If you go buy Heineken, okay? In the old days when Heineken was still legal during Prohibition, so you wouldn't buy Heineken, right? You'd buy bathtub gin. But when the mafia and those criminal organizations, they also sold opioids, morphine primarily, but heroin was becoming a substance, and marijuana as well, and pills. That all got introduced to the American population when the American population was forced underground to buy alcohol. They then came in contact with the underworld, right? When you go to the package store, right, they might offer you beer nuts, so not an offer to you, they're right there. Or, you might get a bag of Doritos, but you don't go to the package store and walk out with a gram of heroin, right? Which is entirely possible. If you're going and buying marijuana on the street, you may walk out of there without even realizing you got fentanyl-laced marijuana. And I think it's incumbent upon the elected officials of the greater New Bedford area to embrace the legalization that we all voted for and bring in dispensaries. Get the tax revenue and get it all above board. Get the competition going between the dispensaries. That's what we need. 508-996-0500. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Is that me?
Yes, sir.
All right. No, you're not supposed to call twice, but I was driving before. I didn't get to finish.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
you made a point about the law of the burnt marijuana, the police.
Yes.
The reason that they had to do that is because the police abuse their power and they lie and say they smell marijuana just to get to search your car.
Okay, that may be true in some cases. 508-996-0500. That's how you can get on the program. We are... we're really filling up the lines here. I may have to bring this back tomorrow, this legalized marijuana stuff. But I'll have the chief of police from New Bedford, and I'll have the mayor of New Bedford. Maybe I'll bring it up in the 9 o'clock hour because the hour is getting short. But let's go right back to the phones. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
You know, Trump never smoked marijuana.
You didn't. You're right. Well, that's what he says. You're talking about that Studio 54. He might have a blow for his nose. Who knows?
No, he kept it straight. That's why his memory is so excellent. Because, see, marijuana takes that part of your brain which is responsible for your memory. I would like to point out that Shattuck is now talking about wrong way driving as a result of Connecticut going to pot.
I used to work for Mr. Shattuck. Tom Shattuck ran Boston Hill Radio, and I worked for him.
Tom Shattuck overrode the LIC at his station, and he took me back the other day after
So wait, I'm better than him. I never banned you.
You're the best. There's nobody can touch you, right? I was never banned.
Never.
By you.
I don't ban anyone, really.
Well, remember the book Banned in Boston?
Yes, I do.
And what appeal that had. And, that's why the banning, I kind of thrive on that. You know what happened with me in Chicago.
I found that's where I looked Ferris up. Okay, this is Ferris Freud, the most often heard caller broadcaster in America. I looked him up I said, who is this guy? When you used to call Ken Pimmons' show. I think you got banned from there, but I think you're back now. I looked him up and I found out about they fired a call screener. They actually ran a contest about whether they should fire him because he let Ferris through. I said, I'm not going to play those games. I don't have call screeners anyway.
No, I mean, what are we here for? What do we have a free and open exchange of ideas and of opinions on talk radio if we're going to ban certain callers? Right. Callers like me. You're not banning me.
No.
When you ban me, you ban many.
And not only that, you'll merge anyway, and it becomes frustrating. So I don't play those games. Plus, you know what the rules are, and you break them anyway. But we play the game, and we have fun here, Ferris Freud.
Well, the queen of local talk radio who met you in Acushnet at the Century House.
And now she didn't like me, so let's not bring it.
I want to say that was 9/15/18 when Howie Carr brought Ann Coulter to the Century House and sat her up on the stage there.
WBSM brought her.
Well, yes, but, I mean, it was Howie Carr.
He was the opening act.
He was, and Ann was there, and I was able to discuss with Ann her wisdom that it all started to go downhill when women got the right to vote. She doesn't want the right to vote.
She said
She'd
it.
Gladly give it up because she realized someday you're going to have a lesbian governor in your Commonwealth.
Wait,
right?
What do you mean someday?
Imagine?
Ferris, thanks for calling, buddy. I got to take a break. I love Ferris. We're going to take a break. If you're on hold, stay there. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Look, folks, it's going to get cold pretty quick, real quick. Wet and cold, that is an ingredient to have your windshield shatter, really, if you have a crack in it. You don't have to have a crack in it. Call my friends at Citywide Glass. They're in Dartmouth and Fall River. Give them a call, or you can go right to their website, citywideglass.net, and book an appointment. Now, all insurance is accepted, so this won't cost you a penny. Not only will they fix your windshield, they can also fix mirrors, door windows, truck sliders, sunroofs, and more. Citywide Glass, just a phone call away. There's no reason for you and your family to be playing Russian roulette, quite frankly, with that crack in the windshield. It's ugly. It makes your nice car look terrible, and it's not safe for your family, your wife, your kids, or your husband, or however the family unit is devised, right? Call Citywide Glass. All insurance accepted. Won't cost you a penny. Get that cracked windshield fixed immediately. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Chris.
What's happening?
Hey, listen, I spent 24 years in the Marine Corps active, traveled the world, and I can honestly say I never took one illicit drug.
I wouldn't expect you would have.
No, I was never a smoker to begin with.
Okay.
But when I was stationed down south, I drank plenty of moonshine, I can tell you that.
But you don't. How was it? You can get it
It was
here.
excellent, I'll tell you. Even when you held it up to the light, when you saw certain things floating in there, after a while, it didn't even bother you. You just drank it up. Down in the Carolinas, Virginia, Louisiana, all the best.
Do you still drink it now?
No. Okay, Chris.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Hey, have a great, and appreciate your service in the Marines, sir. Have a great Thanksgiving. Folks, again, I think that marijuana discussion, for a variety of reasons, is worth having. Okay? We have a real problem with people overdosing on fentanyl in this community. The greater New Bedford area. Actually, the entire country. Understand, the Chinese are pumping that stuff into the community. And people who are, again, like I said, if you're buying marijuana off a guy you've known since the 70s, or and again, these people grow it. It's legal to grow it. People grow it in their homes. It's all legal. And I'm not worried about those guys because they're not going to spike it with fentanyl. What I'm worried about are the illicit drug deals. Just look at the news reports on WBSM.com. They're not raiding for marijuana. They're raiding for fentanyl and cocaine, primarily heroin. And they get commercial amounts of marijuana because they're selling marijuana. They're adulterating it with fentanyl. And the government's trying, the voters are trying to stamp that out. The problem is you have some elected officials, for their own reasons, and they may be solid, but I think individual case deserves individual examination. And you've got some real quality people, a great track records, trying to open dispensaries in the greater New Bedford area, which I think would make the community safer. And not only that, they're great businessmen. So I just think that everybody should reconsider and do it my way. Do it the way the voters said they ought to do it. Anyway, folks, like I said,